Gemar Chatima Tova. May you be sealed for a good year. Bruchim Habayim. Welcome to everyone who's joined us for this virtual service. I am Moran Nancy Scheimer, and my co-service leader is Chazan Jude Scheimer, who is joining us from Brooklyn. Our service this afternoon begins on page 540 of the Yom Kippur section of our Machzor packet, entering Yizkor, prayers of remembrance and words of hope. Like the stars by day, our beloved dead are not seen with mortal eyes, but they shine on in the untroubled firmament of endless time. To ask of death that it never come is futile, but it is not futility to pray that when death comes for us, it may take us from a world, one corner of which is a little better because we were there.
Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam.
Eli, Eli, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. We continue on the next page, page 541. This is the hour of memory, and this is our house of comfort. Wounded by loss, we retreat from life. Our synagogue gathers us into this place we bring stories and prayers, unanswered questions, tears that need to be shed, lives collected and carried within us, moments of courage and laughter and pain. This day embraces them all. This place embraces us all. Now the heart opens in sorrow, for we are time's subjects, and all that we love we must lose. So let us hold fast to the love that remains and cherish the light of the sun. Today, all of us walk the mourner's path. Together, may we find strength. Eternal God, we ask your help, for our need is great. Our days fly past in quick succession, and we cannot look back without regret or ahead without misgiving. We seek to understand the mystery of our own lives, but our effort is in vain. And when suffering and death strike those we love, our faith all but fails us, and we forget that we are your children. God, help us now to feel your presence. When our own weaknesses and the storms of life hide you from our sight, help us to know that you are with us still. Uphold us with the comfort of your love. We continue on page 544. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid. Keep me, eternal one, for in you I find refuge, and in you my soul finds its peace. Guardian of all my days, you are my cup from which I drink, and the portion of my life. I thank you for guiding my steps, for the inner voice that instructs me. I have set you before me always. With you beside me, I cannot fail. So my heart is glad, my soul rejoices, and all of me can rest secure, for you will not abandon me in death. You show me the path of life, and your presence is fullness of joy. At this time, we light the first candle. on the loss of loved ones. As a deer yearns for streams of water, so I yearn for you, O God. My whole being thirsts for God, for the living God. Hear my prayer. Let my cry come before you. Do not hide from me in my time of sorrow. Turn your ear to me. When I cry, answer me soon. My God, my soul is downcast. Therefore, I think of you. The death of a loved one is the most profound of all sorrows. The grief that comes with such a loss is intense and multifaceted, affecting our emotions, our bodies, and our lives. Grief is preoccupying and depleting. Emotionally, grief is a mixture of raw feelings such as sorrow, anguish, anger, regret, longing, fear, and deprivation. Grief may be experienced physically as exhaustion, emptiness, tension, sleeplessness, or loss of appetite. Grief invades our daily lives in many sudden gaps and changes, like that empty place at the dinner table or the sudden loss of affection and companionship, as well as in many new apprehensions, adjustment, and uncertainties. The loss of a loved one throws every aspect of our lives out of balance. The closer we were to the person who died, the more havoc the loss creates. Love does not die quickly. Hence, to grieve is also to celebrate the depth of the union. Tears are then the jewels of remembrance, sad but glistening with the beauty of the past. So grief in its bitterness marks the end, but it also is praise to the one who is gone. And we light the second candle. On inner strength and survival.
Adonai madam vatedaehu ben enosh vatechashvehu Adam lahevel dama yamav kitzel over baboker yatzitz v'chalav la'erev yimolel v'yavesh Tashev enosh adaka vatomer shuvu v'nei adam lu chochmu yaskilu zot yavinu le'acharitam ki lo v'moto yikach hakol lo yered acharav kevodo Poder Adonai nefesh avadav velo yeshmu kol hachosim bo.
Adonai, how hard to fathom that we are worthy of your care. How astonishing your awareness of us. For we are like the morning mist, our days a passing shadow. At dawn we flourish anew, by dusk we wither and fade. Sending us back to earth's dust, you tell us, return, you who belong to humanity. If only we were wise and understood what lies ahead, for when we die we carry nothing away, we leave our possessions behind. So mark the wholehearted, take note of the upright, for there's purpose in a life of integrity. Adonai, you replenish the lives of all who revere you, and those who trust in you will never despair. From the prison of my grief, I called you, and you led me to open spaces. Happy is the one who draws strength from God, whose heart is on a path to you. Send forth your light and your truth. They will guide me. We now light the third candle. on the holiness of memory. I will preserve your memory forever. When I cry, my voice trembles with fear. When I call out, it cracks with anger. How can I greet the dawn with song when darkness eclipses the rising sun? To whom shall I turn when the clouds of the present eclipse the rays of tomorrow? Turn me around to yesterday that I may be consoled by its memories. Were not the seas split asunder? Did we not once walk together through the waters to the dry side? Did we not bless the bread that came forth from the heavens? Did your voice not reach my ears and direct my wanderings? The waters, the lightning, the thunder remind me of yesterday's triumphs. Let the past offer proof of tomorrow. Let it be my comforter and guarantor. I have been here before, known the fright, and found your companionship. I enter the sanctuary again to await the echo of your promise. We light the fourth candle. Our most precious relationships. Yesh kochavim she'oram magia artza rak ka'asher hem atzmam avdu veinam. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We turn now to the Yizkor prayer on page 570, and I suggest that you take a moment to read one or both of these as many times as is appropriate in your situation. On page 570, the prayer is for a loved one who is lost, who was male, and the one on the next page is for a loved one who was female. So please take a moment for silent prayer. The fifth candle on acceptance. I have taught myself to be contented. Adonai, through all generations, we have found our home in you. Before the mountains rose up, before the birth pangs of the earth, you alone have been with us, steadfast and constant for all time. In the end, you return us to dust, saying, "Come home now, daughters and sons of Adam and Eve. You are mortal. In your sight, 1,000 years pass in an instant, like a fleeting watch in the night. But how brief the span of our lives. Our years flow by in a dream. We sleep away our days. In the morning, we blossom in beauty. In the evening, we wither away. Burnt like grass in the blasting heat of summer, we perish like chaff on the wind. A human life may be 80 years and 10, or 80 years for those who are blessed with strength. So many days consumed by toil and troubles. Then our time is cut short, and too soon we go into the dark. So teach us to number our days, that we may bring home a heart of wisdom. Give us a sense of your presence. Nourish us with your compassion. Knowing your love at the dawn of our life, let us live our days in contentment. May our moments of joy surpass the times of struggle. May we taste the sweetness of each precious day. May the work of our hands bring fulfillment. We now light the 6th candle. Hazorim b'dima barina yitzoru. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. It is good to praise, to sing hymns at daybreak, psalms of faith each night. How great is your creation, God Most High, how subtle the beauty of your designs. I shall not die, but live and proclaim the works of the living God. If some messenger were to come to us with the offer that death should be overthrown, but with the one inseparable condition that birth should also cease, if the existing generation were given a chance to live forever, but on the clear understanding that never again would there be a child or a youth or first love, never again new persons with new hopes, new ideas, new achievements, ourselves for always and never any others, could the answer be in doubt? When we fear death's decree, let these bring us solace, the memory of loved ones who have gone before us, a vision of generations to come through whom we reach far into the future, beyond our lives. We now light the 7th candle. On finding peace. There is a future for one who finds peace and wholeness. One morning, shortly after my mother died, a hesitant tap on the shoulder stopped me as I left the synagogue where I had just finished saying the mourner's Kaddish. I turned to face a fellow morning service regular, a tall, gray-haired gentleman with a football player's thick build. I don't mean to be presumptuous, he said in a soft voice. I know you're very sad right now, but I wanted to tell you that I went through that too when my father died several years ago. And here's the thing, believe it or not, I am as close to my father now as when he was alive, maybe even closer because I have come to understand him better. He is inside me. I hear his voice. We are still that close. Then he smiled and waved goodbye, leaving me to ponder words that I began to understand only years later. What he meant, I think, was that our dead inhabit us like ghosts. The trick, as he knew then, and I have learned since, is to befriend them rather than have them haunt us. They will greet us on sad anniversaries as well as in joy. We will imagine a deceased parent's response to her grandchild's arrival, or we will call back from memory the words or actions of the one person to whom we would have turned were he or she still here. And eventually, when we hear that voice again, it will bring not just pain, but comfort and resolution. We continue on page 593. The 23rd Psalm. No other psalm, perhaps no other prayer but the Kaddish itself, is as inseparable from our experience of grief and mourning as the 23rd. One phrase, so simple and direct, yet emotionally profound, has made it so. Ki ata imadi, for you are with me. Or in the language of an earlier age, for thou art with me. To arrive at those words after passing through the valley of the shadow of death is to know, in the words of Rabbi Joshua Loth Liebman, that God contains and supports us as a mighty ocean contains and supports the infinitesimal drops of every wave. To arrive at those words is to feel at home in the cosmos, held and comforted, cared for and serene. The 23rd Psalm does not make promises that cannot be kept. The end of all evil, the eradication of suffering and pain, sunshine instead of shadows. It makes but one promise, only this: you are not alone.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, binot deshe yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yenahaleni. Nafshi yeshovev, Nafshi yeshovev, Yancheni v'magle tzedek leman shemo. Gam ki elech begeit salmavet, lo ira ki ata imadi, shivtecha umishantecha, shivtecha umishantecha, hema yenachamuni. Taroch, taroch, taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, neged zorurai. Dishanta, dishanta, dishanta v'shemen roshi, dishanta v'shemen roshi, kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed, Yirdefuni kol yemei chayai, Veshavti beveit Adonai, Veshavti beveit Adonai, leorech yamim.
God is my shepherd, I shall not want. God gives me rest in green pasture, guides me by the restful waters, refreshes my soul, directs me along straight trails for the sake of God's name. Even when I pass through the valley of ominous shadows, I am not frightened, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff calm me. You provide for me even if there are enemies about. Your care exceeds all expectation. My cup overflows. Truly, a generous goodness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall be with God as long as I live. We continue on the next page, which is page 597. Prayers for the journey. Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Kotz would say, Ein davar shalem yoter milev shavur. There is nothing more whole than a broken heart.
Kol haolam kulo גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל, והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל.
Says Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, we travel through this world on a very narrow bridge, and what matters most is this: do not be afraid. All that live must die, passing through nature to eternity. Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that brings some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us. And these are the names on our lips and in our hearts of those who passed away during this past year in our congregation. Janet Conrad, beloved mother of Michelle Hyman and mother-in-law of Paul. Irene Friedman, beloved wife of Jerry Friedman. And Susie Eagleston, beloved daughter of Karen and Don Eagleston, and sister of Joe and sister-in-law of Jane. We continue with the memorial prayer on page 598.
El male rachamim, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, לנשמות יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם, בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר Amen.
Amen. Merciful God, God Most High, let there be perfect rest for the souls of our loved ones who have gone into eternity. May they find shelter in your presence among the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold them close to you forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May they find a home in you, and may they rest in peace. Together we say, Amen. We continue on the next page, which is page 605. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. This evening we mark the yahrzeits of Herman Horowitz, Leonard Savage, Celia G. Rosenberg, Neil Fagan, Norman Cholodowski, Elsie M. Schwab, Dr. Alvin Bales, Martin Dicker, Ruth Rappaport, and Max Schaefer. And we also mark the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. We recite the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudusha brichu. La'ela ula'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. May God's great name come to be magnified and sanctified in the world God brought into being. May God's majestic reign prevail soon in your lives, in your days, and in the life of the whole house of Israel. And let us say, Amen. May God's great name be blessed to the end of time. May God's holy name come to be blessed, acclaimed, and glorified, revered, raised, and beautified, honored, and praised. Blessed is the one who is entirely beyond all the blessings and hymns, all the praises and words of comfort that we speak in the world. And let us say, Amen. Let perfect peace abound. Let there be abundant life for us and for all Israel. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, all Israel, and all who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen. Ner Adonai Nishmat Adam. The spirit within is the lamp of God eternal. This concludes our Yizkor service, and we will be back at 6:30 for our concluding service for Yom Kippur, the Ne'ilah service.